Oh, here we go. This is the exciting story that you and I were waiting for today. Coke with coffee will hit U.S. stores next year. So the stuff that we've covered here on the show, I'm always interested in these unique beverages that, particularly the ones that are not available, that are from other geographic regions. I don't know why it's a picture of Smart Water. Scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a wonderful picture of the Coca-Cola with coffee. I talked about this when I first heard about it. It was available in a couple of different markets. Brazil. Actually, they're probably listed in this article right here. Brazil.
Israel?
Isn't Israel where ours came from?
Yes.
Yeah. Japan, actually, was one of the first ones as well. Okay. Anyways, a number of markets, and this is what Coke's doing now when they're trying to innovate on some new drink. Well, any beverage company, they're testing it to see how it does in some markets to determine if it's worthwhile to launch it out elsewhere. You don't want to flop, Will. You don't want to invest a bunch of marketing money if you don't know people even like the thing.
Yes.
You want to put it out there in smaller ways and see if people like it, and then roll it out into bigger markets. Now, Coca-Cola, the flagship stuff, hasn't been doing that well. A lot of their growth has been in the seltzer waters and things that we've talked about on this show. But this product apparently is doing really well. Coca-Cola plus coffee. This product apparently has Coca-Cola to start with the coffee aftertaste. And it's got the caffeine in it, so you're going to get the jolt, like an energy drink or something like that. And it's a diversification for Coke to look at these new beverage opportunities as people's tastes are changing. You know, coffee's doing really well right now.
Oh, yeah.
And Starbucks, they have drinks in a can. So anyway, there's 3 flavors: caramel, dark blend, vanilla, and I guess just the regular plus coffee, 4 flavors. And then there's a 0 one with like the no sugar component to it. Now let's just talk about the caffeine component for a minute. This Coca-Cola plus coffee has 69 milligrams of caffeine per can compared to 34 milligrams for a regular Coke. So it is twice the caffeine boost. That is some serious caffeine.
So what's that compared to like a cup of coffee?
It's like double. I think depending how big your coffee is.
Okay.
But it's a lot of caffeine, and it's synthetic caffeine, so it hits a bit different as well. As we've talked about in the past, that study that we referenced on the show, this caffeine is going to hit a bit different. By the way, a lot of people don't know this. A regular Diet Coke has 12 more milligrams of caffeine compared to a regular Coke. So for those that were curious why they might be a little more amped after a Diet Coke. Anyways, it's still a sugary drink, to be clear. But we're going to give it a taste test here on the show, courtesy of a viewer who actually sent it in because we couldn't get our hands on it. And up until this point, it was not available in the U.S.
Who was the one that sent it, Jack?
Jack, do you remember the viewer's name? Shout out. There was actually no note, believe it or not. I think that the viewer's just happy enough to see it on the show.
Yeah.
So shout out to our fan in Israel who hooked up the Coca-Cola Plus coffee. This is an early taste test pre-launch in the United States, which is coming soon, by the way. I should actually put the date in here because people will be curious. Next year, January, early next year. So let's see what we get here, Will. Let's do the taste test. Very exciting. I'm going to crack mine. There we go. Ooh. Smell is pretty much Coke. Smell is Coke.
Do you get a hint of coffee at all?
Maybe a tiny hint of coffee. This is riveting stuff. Now, I notice you picked the different one. You have the zero. So I have the standard. You have the 0, 3, 2, 1. You know what?
You like it?
You know what? I'm realizing now Coca-Cola kind of had a coffee thing to it. Like they somehow merge really naturally together.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Cola and coffee.
It's a tiny coffee. I got to be clear, though. It's a tiny coffee piece. Mm-hmm. The coffee part of it is not overwhelming. You know what it's like if you've ever had a coffee crisp? You know the chocolate bar?
Right, yeah.
Coffee crisp? It's a hint. And I don't think a lot of people have tried that because I believe that's not the most that's not available in all regions, the Coffee Crisp chocolate bar. But check it out. It exists. It's got a wafer in it, a chocolate coating.
And this has caffeine in it.
Does it?
It tastes like coffee.
It does taste like coffee. It's got a really nice coffee flavor to it. And I've always been a fan of the Coffee Crisp. It's interesting, a Coffee Crisp, if you have a Coffee Crisp with a coffee. That's a good time. Double the coffee.
Oh, coffee flavored.
Yeah, coffee
Soft
flavored.
candy.
So, oh, wow, it's older than I thought. The product is marketed by Nestle Canada. So, yeah, it's a Canadian. The bar originated in the United Kingdom in the 1930s. Well, later renamed Chocolate Crisp. The bar was introduced to Canadians as Bis Crisp. In 1938, a coffee variation was added to the line. In 1988, Nestle acquired Rowntree's, including its Canadian operation and the Toronto chocolate factory where the bar is produced. As of 2014, the product is marketed by Nestle Canada. I don't know if they have this elsewhere. Oh, availability outside Canada. No. So people don't even know the Coffee Crisp. Anyways,
Australia.
to get to the point here, the Coffee Crisp is a chocolate bar with a real hint of coffee. It's not an overwhelming coffee flavor. So if you're not into the strong coffeeness, this gives you just a little piece of it.
Yes, it's delicious, by the way.
It is absolutely delicious. And this is exactly that. This is the cola version of the Coffee Crisp. It gives you a tiny punch of coffee only at the end. And it's cola up until that. And you have the carbonation and everything else.
Right. There's almost like a hint of chocolate as well.
It's
now
very
that you
chocolate.
mention it.
It's a chocolate component. Anyways, I'm a fan. I think they're going to do well with it. And I can understand why it's been popular in other markets. It's still a sweet beverage. It's a treat, to be clear. But they did something. Coca-Cola did something here. Who would have thought?